Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Shib here. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is find potential 5x, 10x NFTs before they really blow up. We also like to share exact step-by-step strategies that I'm currently using to find upcoming potential NFTs where you can get in before they blow up. So if you like this kind of content, please go down below, like, subscribe. And in today's video, what I have for you guys is 3 potential projects that are coming up in the next week or so, which I believe has a high potential to get those kind of 5, 10x gains. So before we get into the video, I actually have an announcement real quick. I wanted to try this out for the first time, and what we want to do is give our first giveaway. We're giving away $100 in Ethereum to anybody who's going to go down below and comment. So all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment. If you want me to check out an upcoming NFT project, leave it in the comment, and you will potentially be able to not only have the video come out where I look into that project that you mentioned, but also potentially get $100 in Ethereum. So with that being said, let's get into it. Project number 1 is Wilder Wheels. So if you don't know the entire ecosystem of Wilder World, Wilder Wheels is one of the newer additions to that ecosystem. Just to give you a little brief background on what Wilder World is about, it's much like another metaverse, right? They have cribs, basically apartments. Quite recently, one of the calls I made on the channel was for NFT worlds and World Wide Web, and you can see how there's that kind of demand for apartments and homes in the metaverse that you'll have, and you can see the ones that they have. It looks pretty sick. They have a very sleek looking style they're going for on everything they do. It's a little bit like iRobot and also a little bit like Tron, if there's a mix between iRobot and Tron. If I look at their land, you can see kind of like how they have the outlook. Really, it's like a vast land in another planet and whatnot. And then going to the other tabs, you can see they have fashion. So they're capitalizing on all the narratives here. If you really kind of look at what's going on, you know, they have the car you drive, the house you live in, the clothes you wear. It's really a little bit skeuomorphic. It's a new word I learned, which basically means it's taking aspects of our current world, what we value, you know, the person we date, the house I live in, the car I drive, taking all those things and having those aspects being mirrored in this metaverse right off the get-go. Now, where Wilder World gets a little bit more unique is really their part with the cars and wheels. So not too long ago, they released this Wilder Craft, and I think this is one of the best looking things I've seen in the metaverse so far yet. The biggest gaming aspect with cars so far that I've seen is F1 Delta. It's by Animoca Brands, and these are the guys who are behind Sandbox, and you know they're very good at executing in many different aspects of the metaverse right now. They're pretty much investing, what it looks like almost have a stake in half the projects out there. But when I compare it aesthetically, just aesthetically, I think this looks way better than F1 Delta, even though F1 Delta looks pretty cool. And since I saw this craft, I got a little bit more interested and pulled into Wilder World to see what else they can come up with. And their newest one that they're dropping, which is tomorrow, is wheels, right? Basically, it'll be NFT sets where you'll be able to buy these wheels, and they'll have utility in the metaverse. They'll have even staking involved. So that brings our project at hand. Let's take a look at some of the metrics. So here it is. It's their tier C launch, right? So they already had 2 launches before this. It's 1500 limited edition race wheels, and they have collaborating with Race Service, right? So this is an agency that works with all things with cars and racing and that entire culture. And you might be thinking like, okay, it's not that much of a huge deal. It's just another marketing agency, but they have some pretty big projects they have worked with. Like if you look into their project section, these guys have worked with literally Hot Wheels. I don't know if they actually worked with Keanu Reeves, but Michelin Pilot Experience, okay, Samsung S drone. So they're big into the entire racing community and the whole car vibes and car crews and everything like that. And this is where I think Wilder World is a little bit unique in of itself, and meaning that they're bringing this racing culture in the metaverse and taking it to another degree. Drop details. This is coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST, which is my time zone, and it's going to be 0.7 ETH on the pricey side, right? And there's going to be 33 wheels that are like limited edition, 33 wheels, right? So it's 1,500 items, and 33 of them are limited edition, which you'll be, I guess, that'll be by the draw. If you get lucky, you get one of these, and there will be future staking involved. The utility is you'll be able to drive, using these wheels for pink slips. So I'm guessing that's kind of like some kind of Z racing type element will be happening with these wheels in the metaverse, and then you'll also be able to stake these wheels. So when you stake them, obviously you probably won't be able to use them, but you'll get some kind of recurring token, I believe, for Wild with it. Not a lot of information is really out on this other than what they have on this page, so I'm just like assuming based on other information they have on this project. But this is a pretty interesting thing, right? The question that really you're gonna have to ask yourself to buy this or not, since the price is a little bit hefty, is gonna be, do you see and feel that this team behind this project, Wilder World as a whole, has what it takes to be able to pull something the same way that Sandbox did? right? That's really the question here. If you were to tell me like let's say a couple months ago when Sandbox was actually quite a bit below even 0.7 ETH, but if you saw the vision then after looking at the team, it would have been a no-brainer because the price per land in Sandbox right now is like 3 ETH. But this is a wheel in the car, so it's a little bit more out there. The second question that you can ask yourself is, just like 4 or 5 months ago, we start to see how Decentraland and Sandbox is really trying to take off, right? People who got in Sandbox like before the beginning of the year, I mean, they're golden. They got like 100x. But even 4 or 5 months ago, the land in Decentraland and Sandbox was pretty low price until the hype started to really come in. Facebook changed their name to Meta and stuff like that. And then the price went pretty much even like a 7, 10x since just the last 4 or 5 months. The question to ask here is, will that kind of same thing happen here? Meaning, this seems a little bit pricey now, 0.7 ETH, the crafts are over 1 ETH. Not too sure, but if you can see, if you can understand or see that some of the big brands in the world, let's say F1, the whole F1 wants to change the name and make it something about the metaverse and racing and esports, and it's all going to go in the metaverse, and they are big on it. They're changing the entire brand to go all in that. Mark my words, this would go up. This would 3 to 4x pretty much over a weekend. But will that happen? These are two questions that you can ask yourself to really put yourself in the shoes of a proper investor and start doing some due diligence. Going over to project number 2, and that is Xtoadz. So by now you probably know that I really love Cryptoadz and its derivatives. Let's get into this project. This is basically a mix between Xcopy, right, and Gremlin, which is the person behind Cryptoadz. Generally, when we think about derivatives, it's always like a copy, right? They're trying to just like capitalize on the hype, create something and sell out and then just go to zero. If there's a reason ever to have derivatives, this is it. I just love it just shows the quality behind Xcopy as an artist, the quality of Gremlin as an artist, as a creator, because even the people who create the derivatives, man, I can never say that word, derivatives of their art comes out to be so cool. Look at this stuff. It's just so sick. I find it really sick. It has such a, I don't know, like some kind of 90s vibe, punk rock at the same time. And I don't know, it just like reminds me of some songs that you listened to maybe like 10 years ago where the graffiti on the wall would be some things like this, right? And so I can say I like the art. Not many projects I like the art for. I usually get it because I understand the hype, the utility behind it. I like it. I want to be part of the community, etc. like that. But this is one of those that I do like the art, just like very similar to why I bought Croaks. So I pulled up Croaks here, and as you can see, the price has come down quite a bit, even though, you know, it's such a great project. The art is so nice. I really like this project, and still they're struggling. And we have to be, you know, honest with ourselves to see how to play these things and one of the easiest ways you can picture what could potentially happen with a project like this is very closely related projects to this, how it has done, right? So Croaks, I would say, is around the same level as this, and I bought 3. There was maximum 3 allowed per mint, and the same with Xtoadz, and I sold 2 at 0.3, and I'm still holding 1. So the last one, I could sell it right now for around almost mint price. The mint price was 0.069, so still above mint price, right? So that's one thing to remember. You didn't lose money on this, right? If you still held all of them, you didn't lose money. But I did sell 2 at 0.3, and it went up to like 0.42, looks like. And I'm holding one of them, which I'm just gonna hold because I actually like the one, you know, the art in this. I'm just gonna hold this one, and I'm gonna do the same thing with Croaks. If I had to give you my perspective on how to play this one, it would be exactly that. Mint 3. Right, that's the maximum you can mint with the whitelist. Let 2 off at 0.3. Right, if you want to be a little bit, try to squeeze out, you can do 0.3 and then 0.5 or 0.4, something like that. If you want to take a quick look, usually I like to just set it and, you know, not look too closely after that. But you can do that, and then I would hold the last one just to see where the project could go. If they end up doing some kind of memes and whatnot together, it could still have some blow up. And then going over to our last project we have today, and you know, a lot of times I like to keep the best for last, and that is SubDrive. So SubDrive, basically what it is an on-chain fantasy console on the Ethereum blockchain, whereas games themselves are NFTs, right? So little games, the games itself are NFTs. And they give you the reference as art blocks. You can think of it like art blocks, which is generative art. You can change some of the, you know, some query in it, and it changes the way the art's going to look. But it's games. So it's kind of weird, like what is this, right? So if you remember my video that I made last week, which was about new concepts, sometimes even if you don't know much about the founder or the thing or whatever, if it's a brand new concept and it's very on-chain, it's very unique, that can be all it needs for the project to really take off, right? So hold that in mind, because this is not a nobody either when it comes to the founder. So it's a very new concept with a game, and there is an article on The Verge, basically, and they go on to say, the games will be NFTs running on virtual firmware. The fact that games will be released as NFTs means that there will only be so many editions or copies available. Hoffman also says that each copy of a given game will be unique, with players getting different color palettes, difficulty levels, and more. Right? So then he compares the same thing we just talked about here, art blocks. Now you might be asking, if you already don't know, who is Hoffman? Let me take you to his website, and this website just aesthetically will show you everything what a real creator is about. Boom. You see this? I'm just kidding. The website is not much to look at, but look at the track record. He's the creator of Vine. He's the creator behind Blitmap, and he's the person behind Loot. Does that ring a bell? This is an on-chain ninja. He created Loot. Loot has taken the NFT world by storm. Loot, actually, if you guys don't know, is one of the only projects that reached the very far sides of the spectrum. Even I listen to some podcasts that's very like serious people who are not much into NFTs. They believe CryptoPunks, but not much into any other NFTs, but they respect Loot because of the way it's designed and how it really came to be. Same with these other projects. So when this person comes and says that he's making a new on-chain thing, a very new concept, and this is what his track record, I highly recommend not betting against him, right? I was about to say I highly recommend aping in, but this is nothing I say is financial advice, so I had to change that to another phrase. But there you go, guys. I mean, there's not much else you really need to know about this project, right? Like I said, sometimes you look at what it's about, what's the concept, what are they trying to do, and who's behind it. This basically gets 10 out of 10 in my 3 sectors, right? The founder, the concept, and the art itself. Art itself, we haven't seen it, but the founder and the concept is already 10 out of 10. I'm gonna go for it. So this is, I'm very bullish on this project, you know, I like to usually at the end of these videos, I just like to give you guys some idea on you know, which ones I'm going to be getting into and whatnot. So you can see that I'm thinking about Wilder World. I want to bring it to your radar. Xtoadz, I'm getting in. I would like to get 3 of these. Sell 2, keep 1, and then SubDrive. I just want to get as many as I can get my hands on. Right now, they don't have any kind of whitelist system, but they said they're coming up with it. I would encourage you to go to the Discord and check them out and just really be part of it. Something with the teams and whatever, which one you're joining. So hint, hint, that would be something that you might want to go into right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed this video, please go down below, like, subscribe. And in this end of this video, I'm going to be putting some links somewhere on this screen. I'm going deeper dive into some of the projects that I talked about today. So just keep a lookout. They might not be up as soon as I upload this video, but whenever they're up, if you see it right now on the screen, you can feel free to check those out, because I am looking to do a deep dive on some concepts, at least based on the projects that I talked about today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.